Can I finish my sentence, please? Can I finish my
I'm listening to you. You know.
I'm saying it can be conditioned. Like she probably act just like his mama, and that's why he's attracted to her because
But
she
if your
reminds him
mother
of his
was a
mother.
nothing ass bitch, then
But that's what he
why would
got.
you?
But that's what I'm saying. You see the world. You see the world the way you see it. He see the world the way he see it, and everybody see the world the way they see it.
It provides an alternative to that upbringing. For men to say, "Hey, it ain't got to be that way." You know what I'm saying? That's what the manosphere is for.
But that's common sense. You know, it's
But
like
it's common sense.
Like
It's
Russell just
common
said,
sense
if you don't
for
want to be with
certain
that, if you
people.
don't like that shit, leave. That's
But
common sense.
it's
If I don't,
common sense
if
for
I don't like
Timothy.
fucking,
It's
if I
common
don't
sense
like
for you
hamburgers, I
and
don't eat
me.
hamburgers.
Yeah, but you
You
just
know what
got
I'm saying?
you
It's
just
not
got
that
to
fucking.
saying
It's
that
not rocket
you just got
science at all.
it's not rocket science, but you just got to talking about upbringing. And it's a
Right.
sad thing. So what's wrong with
Right. So,
having
but
information
that's what
out
I'm
here?
saying.
What's wrong with having information out here and saying it don't have to be that way?
There's nothing wrong with having information like that, but like I said in the example I gave, if what he's attracted to in her is the fact that she reminds him of his mouthy mama, then
But
that's
you know
just
what?
what it
He
is for
might not be
him.
attracted to it, Timothy. That dude might not be attracted to it because he might have grew up getting cursed out, demeaned, called all types of pussies and faggots and shit by his mom, and always wanted to get away with that, from that. But it just
Then
seems
that's
like
what he would have.
everybody he
Then
get
that's
with,
what
he
he
get
would
with
have
that
done.
kind of person. Now, if you got a group of fellas, you know what I mean, whether they're your friends or some outside cats that you met, that's giving you a little bit more insight, like you need to, start looking just start fishing in a different pond. You know what I mean? You'll find different, a different type of fish. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people it's
100
hard they can't get out their own way.
Hmm. It's like I keep saying, and what I disagree with, and where I find my issue with it, is how it's being branded, because it's being branded as in the same behaviors that I see women have. Women say, "Well, I ain't got a man because men do this, and men is this, and I'm in this position because men this, men this." Say the reason we go in this is because women, single mothers, raised us to be like this, and women did
But
that, and they too
at
masculine,
some
and
point,
everything is a woman's fault.
as
But
a
at the
human
same time,
being,
that same group of men. But no, but what I'm saying is, it's hypocritical
no, I see what you're saying because
because that
I
same
look
group
at it
of
like
men
this: at
will
some point,
preach
you
that.
got to
Well,
show
men,
up as an
we
adult
hold
and
ourselves
say, "Fuck
accountable.
that! I'm
We hold
taking
ourselves
my life
accountable, and women
in
don't.
its
But then
own
they do the
hands,"
exact same shit.
as opposed to I'm not going to accept what just sat before me because I know that shit don't even feel right to me.
No, I don't work here. So,
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can't
All of
always
it,
you
yeah.
can't
All
just
of this,
accept shit.
you got to make a decision to make the changes on your own. That's for sure.
Yeah, some motherfuckers can't, they don't know no better. They really don't know no better. And some people don't ain't know better till they show better. It was like when I was talking about the cologne shit. I didn't know like motherfuckers was schooling me. I didn't know that they wasn't taught how to put on cologne properly till Kevin Samuels came along. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like
Yeah, it was a lot of men who didn't. You know what I mean?
yeah. To me, I thought that was a common sense thing. But again, I can't speak for everybody. I can't. I just can't. You know what I mean? I can only speak for myself. You know what I mean? People is raised differently. They exposed to different things. Some people not really exposed to much at all.
hmm
You know what I mean? And then the dangerous part of it all is a cat who is all right to take all the red pill ideologies and different things that you pick up and all that. It's all right to take some things and chew it up and spit out the bones of the shit that you don't really fuck with like that. It's all right to do that. You know what I mean? The other side of that is some motherfuckers like that's all they know. Like that is the epitome of manhood, and they never really developed themselves.
hmm And so
You see
so
what I'm saying? Like they can throw you some, you can grab knowledge from here, you can grab a little knowledge from there, and mix it with your own shit.
Right.
But when you just like, look, I'm just going to be a clone of Kevin Samuels or this keynote speaker or that keynote speaker, now you're trying too hard to be everything else except who you are.
Right. I agree with that. So Timothy do you agree that what we've been doing ain't been working, or do you feel like it's cool of how the black community is going?
Well, since the appearance of this, I don't see a significant change in the black community. So I can't honestly say there is any impact at all.
No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you
space and a voice to complain. That's the only change that I see.
No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you how it's been going. Do you think it's been good? Hello?
Ask the whole question again.
I said how the black community has been going with or without the manosphere. Do you believe that it's going in the right direction?
In the right direction.
That yes and no. And the reason I say yes and no is because a lot of what's being said and some of the message that's being conveyed does need to be heard. Just the way that it's going about. It's just like regular Negro food.
Black community is going in the wrong direction.
Okay, and I don't think nobody is disagreeing with that. I don't think nobody disagreeing with that. Like, but I mean, it's a little too late. Like, it's a little too late. Like, you gotta be basically when it comes down to the black community, you gotta be ready to say fuck them.
Somewhere,
Is it true? Is it true we had a point of no return?
I believe so.
I don't think so. I guess you feel optimistic.
No, I don't think we're at a point of no return.
Okay, let me ask y'all this: what are y'all optimistic? I ain't saying that y'all wrong, but what are you optimistic about?
I'm optimistic about that men, even though they may not have been raised by fathers knowing what manhood looks like. I'm optimistic that they could get the information and actually apply it to themselves to make changes.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
The optimism that I see is that for once, black male college graduates has fucking skyrocketed. Within the last 3 years, black marriages have been back up on the rise. 2-parent households have been back up on the rise. So just going on that type of shit, the future doesn't look as bleak as it could have been.
Let me deal with both of y'all real quick. And I want to listen to what I'm saying. Please understand where I'm coming from. I want to agree and see it like both of y'all see it. However, I'm gonna take one at a time. Mr. Brown, you spoke about the black man in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
The black man is the most worthless motherfucker in the community, yet he means everything to it.
God, oh.
And people don't, until we understand that. Hold on, calm down,
Say
everybody.
that again, bro. Say that again, dude.
I don't think we're worthless.
Black man is the most worthless component. We're the most worthless component in the black community, yet we are the most important part of the black community. Case in point, these bitches will respect dykes before they respect men.
This is true. This is true.
Dykes get more respect. The average dyke bitch in the hood gets more respect than the average black man. I'm talking about black man that go to work and do the right thing. I ain't talking about the corner boy nigga.
All right, so do you think that's right though, bro?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that is right. I'm saying it's reality. See, I only look at things in the reality of what it is, not what I hope for it to be, not
Okay.
for what I think it might is going to
So,
be.
all right. So, are you saying worthless in terms of the black woman's eyes?
And children and the people around it. Let me tell you something.
Children
Let me tell
too,
you
bro.
something.
The children
Let me tell
too.
you something. Let me tell you something. The children, other like motherfuckers will listen. Let a dyke sit there and be in charge of some shit. Everybody gonna support that.
Yep.
That same particular thing. Let an average working black man do the same thing. He'll get marginal support.
Yep.
Okay. The only time black women flock to black men is if we're doing something that directly affects them in a complimentary fashion, like a black men cook. We cooking for all the women on Mother's Day. Unless you're doing something for them, right? If you say,
Man.
look, miss, we get ready to clean up this neighborhood. I need you to make your son available on Saturday. You'll get marginal support. You see what I'm saying? But if it's, oh, miss, we gonna come down here. A couple brothers gonna come down to clean up your front yard. Oh, that's so nice. You see what
Man,
I'm
that's
saying?
so true. Golly.
And I say that because I deal with community service.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you don't really deal with community service, you're not directly dealing with neighborhoods and different neighborhoods, you're not gonna understand it. I know LP, you fuck with the community service and outreach and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is it's so fucked up that it's like, damn, like with somebody on your ass, you want us. You see what
Well,
I'm saying?
so here's
But
the
when it
thing.
come down to leadership, these bitches follow other bitches and dykes.
Yep.
And the
Well,
only way a man could really have a voice heard is if he's the proverbial male first lady to her presidency. Like
Yep.
is her foundation, and that's the dude that's her second in command.
all right.
Yep.
So all right. So
Hold
with
on,
that being
LP, am I lying?
all
Yep.
right,
You are telling 100% truth, sir.
all right. So with that being the truth, then that we all agree that ain't right. So I'm about solutions. So that's why the list is put forth, so we can have respect for ourselves and change that shit. You know what I mean? Because the way it's
You can't change the way other people feel about men overall. Because
um
that
I,
means in order for that to happen, that means
disagree.
they gotta stop believing in these dyke bitches.
Well, I don't pronounce the word can't,
See,
but
listen to what I'm saying. People ain't that smart. Okay, people have linear fucking attention spans. They can't focus on more than one thing. So if their mentality of leadership is a woman or a lesbian woman, in order for them to have an understanding of, look, we need to believe in these men. In order for them to have total belief in men, they got to take the focus off them. What do you know about women and getting the focus taken off of them? They ain't having it.
Ooh, golly.
this is true.
So this goes
Yeah.
back to when I said it ain't no solution.
Well, I
It ain't
disagree.
no solution.
I disagree with you on that, bro.
Okay,
Listen, we
let me
may
ask you
have a
this. Let me ask you
solution,
this.
but
Let me ask
an
you this, young
operable
homie.
an operable solution, no, not at all. You may
Hold on,
have a
big bro.
solution. I believe you, Mr. Brown. I believe you, Timotheus. I believe you, motherfucking LP. Y'all got solutions, but for it to be an applicable work, that mean they have to stop believing in who they believing in to go into the shit that you saying.
Well, no, because the solution that we have is as far as again, red pill men who identify as red pill, which I think most people on this call think is common sense. That it's not necessarily about the women per se. It's about what
I'm
we
getting a
know.
call.
It's about what we know that will make the relationships better. You know what I mean? It's not.
Order
Let
for
me ask
that.
you this question.
And if they
Let me
not
ask you
with
this
it,
question.
if they not
Hold
with
on
it,
one
then they
second.
sit on the sidelines.
Let me ask you this
Go
question.
ahead, LP.
Can you identify right now? I'm talking about in the city that you live in right now. Can you identify and name the black man in your city that everybody, when I say everybody, they know that he is that guy in terms of leadership, community development, love for the next generation, and has a desire to see change in the black community?
Yes, I can. His name is Otis Carter. That's one of them. And
Otis
there's
who?
Otis Carter.
Otis Carter.
Yes.
And what city is this?
This is Nashville.
Everybody knows that he's that guy. Everybody. I ain't talking about a black man that you know and you think he pretty cool and he did I'm talking about everybody knows that he is that guy.
All right, so I understand the question that you asked. When you say everybody, so here's the thing, you know,
all the black people in your city.
All right, so I don't deal with all and every and never, you know. So here's the thing, because there's always gonna be haters, no matter how good you are, you know. So, but to answer your question without the everybody word, this guy is respected by most people in the community.
All right, let me ask you this: why aren't you that guy?
I like to work behind the scenes. Everyone has their roles. Everyone is not going to be on the front page. You know, I have a certain
but
set
you
of
got
skills.
the solutions. How can what you behind? We need leadership. A leadership got to be out front.
And I will give the solutions. So here's the thing.
We need leadership, bro.
Every leader don't have to be out front.
We need hold on. You got to understand the culture of black people.
Agree with what you're saying in that regard, but the culture of black people, we have always rallied behind standout front leaders. We have always had to have standout front leaders, and it has been that way for a long time. So the whole idea of I'm a leader, I'm that guy, but I'm behind the scenes, that don't work. Not with black folks.
Understood. You know, I believe that there's roles for everyone.
I believe there's roles for everybody too, but like LP said, like when you dealing in the community aspect of things, if you ain't out front, you ain't shit. And that's according to how the people treat you. Now you know damn well as a person who may work behind the scenes, it's a whole lot of work. You got to continue the narrative of making this motherfucker look good when that motherfucker ain't too much of nothing. You see what I'm saying? So I respect behind the scenes work, but I also understand in the eyes of people, our people only respect the motherfucker who out up front beating their chest. And right now, that chest that's being beaten got some nice sized titties and nipples on it.
God, dog, bro, that's so true. Golly, that's so true.
Everybody cannot be a chief, but I see what y'all saying.
Everybody can be a chief, but we need a chief.
The chief was always, and the brave was all had the same thing in common. They was men.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Everybody not gonna be the head chief. I get it, but at least the chief had a dick and balls.
Mm-hmm. He surely did.
Like it's like no matter what you bring to the table as a man, right? In the eyes of the people, no matter what you bring to the table, you can bring the same thing that chick bringing. They'll look at you as, you know, that's real nice. That's all right. I appreciate that. She do the same motherfucking thing. Oh my God. They act like these bitches walked on water. Real shit. Like they act like this bitch is straight walk on water.
And what was done was averages all get out.
But see, the
You know what I'm
difference in that
saying?
is because the difference in that is that women support each other and men don't.
Okay.
No. The difference in it is that they've lost respect for the black man.
Ooh.
See, let's not go on all those support. No, because these same people that support are young black men too, supporting
Yep.
that woman
Yep.
for doing that same shit, and they'll forget they'll forget the nigga who put together the boxing leagues or the motherfucking basketball leagues and shit like that, right?
Oh,
To
they
keep these
forgot
niggas
about
off the
him.
street, keep them from shooting each other. They'll forget even the niggas who didn't put that together, but was able to put niggas together that was warring and get them to squash that beef because they know a whole lot of motherfuckers get hurt over that. That's our good looking old head, and that's that. But as soon as this bitch
That's
have a
it.
fish fry, it's like, oh, we gotta support that. We gotta support,
Mm-hmm.
bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
See what I'm saying?
You know, here's the thing. You know, I just don't have a defeatist attitude when it comes
The same way.
to you know, the solutions. I mean, I get what y'all saying, and you're right. It's been a matriarchy for a long time. But that doesn't mean that it has to stay that way.
Well,
So,
I'll say,
so
I ain't
for
gonna
you to be, for
totally
you
call
to
it
be,
defeatist. I'm just like I said, I'm just looking at it in a more realistic fashion.
and so for him to be as optimistic as he is, it is very important with that optimism that you be a stand out front leader, sir.
I hear you.
And don't get me wrong, I ain't gonna stop doing what I do. I ain't gonna stop,
Me
helping
neither.
out,
Me neither.
giving out the food to the people and having the little young niggas when they, look, take 5 minutes all hustling. Come on, you know, give out a little food. You know what I mean? And I make sure that the church, when you need to go to court, they write you a little letter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that because you getting something and you giving back to your community and shit like that. I'm not looking to be, that's why I'll never take no pictures like, yo, you know what I mean? Look at what I'm doing every week. Like when we have something big, something like that, I might take a picture too and show it to y'all. But
Hey,
that's about it.
hey, I got company, and my company said this is his opinion. He said that he didn't understand when Russell was talking about men being the head coaches and starting all these programs and how they didn't really get the gratitude for that. But he was like, but who's taking the little boys to practice? He was like a bunch of women. It's not like a
Yep.
bunch of men taking their sons to
Again,
practice.
we're not even talking about when they little boys, when they're of age to even do this. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, I think in a lot of ways men drop the ball, and I know in a lot of ways women are getting too much credit for making poor decisions with their pussy.
Ooh, God.
And all they doing when women doing all this community shit, truthfully, all they trying to do for real is make up for all the fucking fuck ups that they made with their pussy. Can we talk about that? Motherfuckers don't want to deal with that.
Wait. He was talking and you was talking at the same damn time.
Well, I mean, he ain't on the phone, so I wouldn't know.
Right. Hold on. I'm gonna put him on the phone.
Bro, how many women do you see on the sideline?
Who?
How many women do you see on the sideline? What's some real shit? If you're a coach,
Oh, hold on. Announce yourself. Say hello.
how
It's
you
good,
doing?
brother. How you
doing,
doing?
bro? How you feeling? It's good to meet you. Good to speak to you. Understand? Now, the question is, you're the coach on the sideline today. How many women do you see pull up with their son versus father?
Yes. Oh, yes. Because you know why? They used to pulling up places with them kids. Drop
No.
them the fuck off.
Listen what I'm telling you right now. If a woman is going to leave her little boy with you as a coach, that's respect right there, bro. Like she trusts somebody enough to lead her son with.
Hold on. Let's. I've been dealing with that kind of shit for years too, and I'm gonna tell you, hood bitches will leave their kids with anybody who will watch them for a while. They don't get,
Anybody.
how many women? How many women you know when they put them kids in daycare? Do they do a super check on every person who worked there before they even enroll their kids?
You're saying that all hood
Hold on. Just answer the question. Like when they put them kids in daycare,
you're absolutely
they
right.
just looking for the cheap price. They're not looking for who worked there, who boyfriend stopping through, who this, that, and other. They ain't doing none of that shit. Hood bitches will take their kids anywhere that it seems like they somebody watching them.
Listen,
That's true.
you're absolutely right on that subject. They ain't all hood bitches. They may live in the hood, but they're not all hood bitches. You can't categorize that. You know what I mean? Some of them bitches actually want their sons to do better.
That's fine.
Now, can you pick and choose between them? No. But the respect level is still there. I'm going to drop him off with this man because I know he's going to look out for my shit. No matter.
Because you get a good feel for him. Hold on. Now I'm gonna get you with your own shit because I think you're right. They get a good feel for that coach, and they want. Look, I'm gonna drop you off with this coach, right?
Start fucking him and shit.
So let me ask you this: why can't the women do the same thing when it comes down to vetting a man that can be there full time? Just because the biological didn't but ain't around don't mean you can't go get them a role model.
What do you
So use that same energy in vetting a motherfucker that you're gonna have around your kid full time. Then you ain't gotta go chase down the coach that just get my kid straight who half fucking tweaked and on medicine because I chose to smoke weed and drink Hennessy while I was pregnant.
Like you saying,
because we ain't gonna act like most of these kids ain't on no fucking medicine.
Listen, bro, that's like you said. That's like you saying, I woke up with that bitch I woke up with that bitch this morning. Good shit. And how many times have you done that? I didn't check. I just fucked.
And guess what? Whatever happened, I made sure that I took responsibility. Didn't blame it and try to put it on nobody.
So
ain't nobody make me fuck the bitch. I fuck the bitch.
Now, listen. Who are we downgrading now? The men like me who said I woke up next to that bitch, or a bitch you just
I never said I woke up next to her. What I am saying is this: we have to stop discrediting men, and we also because men got to step up because a lot of times men drop the ball, but a lot of times more so women getting credit for too much shit that they just because you made poor decisions with your pussy and had 3-4 fucking kids with 5 niggas. Now you looking for everybody to clean the shit up later. Now you want some community to help to raise a child. Get the fuck out of here. Because remember, you grown too. So the same level of understanding and the same level of accountability I'm held to, you're held to. We can't be what we do too much of that. Oh, she had kids, so we just gonna let some of this shit slide.
Wait a minute. Listen. I'm gonna say this. Not everybody on the line over talks one another. You know, some of us don't. So we trying to get the word in, but you know, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go, hun. Then I'm gonna let Timotheus go.
Listen, I just see you looking at the world from a better side of the plate. You understand? Because what you're saying about women, a lot of men out here are the same fucking way. And they often a worse fucking way than these women.
Okay, I don't deal with men, so I can care less.
No. What I'm saying to you, because it's a situation about the whole. You can't base it on a single notion. You gotta base it on the whole.
The first thing I said was men drop the ball. Did you not hear that?
I heard that. So once again,
all right. So it's not like I'm just came at women and let men off the hook.
Of the plate. You're looking at it from a good side of the plate. You're doing better. You know, if you did it, you took that responsibility, which was not taught to a lot of our fucking sons. Definitely wasn't taught to a lot of our fucking.
You know how it was taught to me? You know how that was taught to me at a young age? Because my mom made poor decisions with her pussy, but she had enough about her to go find a role model. And that's the nigga that taught me and gave me perspective. So if she can do it, these bitches can do it.
Listen, I had a step pop too. Love the shit out of that old man.
Yeah, when you got a good one, you got a good one.
That old man came in and took over for the part that my pop didn't fucking do. You understand? It wasn't like my pop wasn't there because my pop was still alive and I love the shit out of him too.
Yeah, it was the same thing for me. Except my pop dead.
Right, but my step pop definitely did what my pop didn't in the house. You know what I mean? And he had no problem voicing his opinion. This is what the fuck a man is supposed to do. I took heed to that. I really did. I took heed to that. That's where I'm at, where I'm right now. I mean, I don't sit fucking still too long. If there's a dollar out there in the fucking get it, I'm going to fucking get it. You know what I mean? I own my own shit. But in the same time, how often is that you see in this world that
going on, sir?
whether the dad is there or not? It's not.
You hook me up.
Basis, female nor male. It's a lost damn near tradition, and it's something that should be brought back. You can't shoot them all if it's not being taught. You can't.
Well,
and you're killing them all.
After a certain age, it is your fault. After a certain age, it is your fault. After a certain age, it is your fault. You old enough to be fucking or bringing kids in the world. At a certain age, it is your fault, and you got to deal with your whole shit.
You old enough to be fucking at 16. Legally.
Again, after a certain age is what 13, I said.
You can have a fucking baby.
Okay, maybe you should not listen. After a certain age, you are responsible. You know the difference between right and wrong. You know if you fucking drawn or not. You know it.
I'm gonna move.
So at what point? See, this the thing. Plenty of women have the perfect motherfucking stepdad. It's just that he maybe whatever the fucking excuse they want to use. He too nice. He. I don't like his car. I don't like he don't like his sneaks. He corny. He ugly. This that and up. And now understand, bitch. Maybe your soulmate is ugly, but they don't want to deal with that. So what do? They keep chasing motherfuckers that's nothing. They keep having more, almost nothing ass kids. That some other man got to fucking help out. Whether it's a physical man, and in their life, as far as like a sport, or the white man as far as subsidies and welfare and food stamps.
All right, I'm gonna give it to Timothy. Go ahead, Tim.
No, what I wanted to talk about, what Russ said earlier, is like a lot of times women get coddled and shit like that, and a lot of that is just because in society, we all agree that there's certain double standards that are in place, and the double standard that I'm about to say right now shouldn't even be a double standard. The only reason it's a double standard is because it's seen as a social norm, and that social norm is absentee fathers in the community. That's why you see when, like he said, like women are like, oh, she had a baby, we gonna help her out and do all of this. The reason you don't see that shit with men is because it's a social norm and accepted that men ain't gonna be around. So, and that's the whole problem. It's like we don't get celebrated. It's so bad that when men are actually, like, I was a single dad, I got celebrated because I was a fucking black man that did for his kid. That was a whole accolade. They had women that was trying to get with me just because I was a single dad. Like, okay, cool, this nigga's a daddy to his son, he could be a daddy to mine. And I think
I agree with that. I used to look at people funny when they see me with my kids, like, oh, that's so nice. Like, what the fuck you mean that's so nice? I'm just kicking it with my sons.
But that's what I'm saying. The social norm is that
like,
we as men we don't be around. So when we're around, it's like motherfuckers looking like, ooh, wow, that's like seeing a fucking rare animal in the wild or some shit. Like, oh, we gotta take a picture of this. We gotta take a picture of this.
Bug the fuck out. But again, this is where we at as a society.
And that, I think
that's a lot of these fucking problems that we have as black dudes. We as black dudes, we brought it on ourselves.
Right, but that ties right hand in hand with what you were saying earlier about how black men don't get the respect that we deserve because it's a social norm for us to not be respectable.
and it's also a social norm for black women to not conform with any kind of leadership hierarchy that has them not being at the top.
Which is not true. That's not true
I
because
want to interject. I want to interject on both
when you
because I
see
agree
them
with both.
when
I
you
agree
see
with
the
both of you guys.
okay, let me say this real quick. I disagree with that, Russ, because a lot of us can say when this is anecdote. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but a lot of time when you see white women, black women get with white men and men of other races, they give him that respect and they don't have that hierarchy
Because that
position.
is instilled from slavery. Why do you think black people act
So,
different when
but
white
that,
people come
but
around?
the,
They
that's the
start
point.
talking all
See,
proper and
I would,
shit.
But that's the
that's
whole
true. That's
point.
true. But I reject that shit, man.
The whole point is that they are capable of falling back and letting a man lead. That's
Yeah,
the
Right.
point I'm making.
are they capable? Yes. Nobody said that they're not capable. They believe. Okay, they believe in that white dude. They don't know what he do. He could be a bum off the street that they washed up, gave him a shave and a nice haircut, and put a suit on him. He's somebody to her because she's been trained since slavery to believe he is the creme de la creme of human being.
Right, right. So with that, I'm gonna ask the ladies on the call. So, Lakeisha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you believe that the black man can lead?
I do believe that you like.
So
Go
you
ahead.
do.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna get. But go ahead.
Okay. So you do believe that the black man can lead and respect the black man?
Say what? Russ,
Do you believe the black man can? I don't know who's that singing in the background.
that's Russ. Russ, mute. Go ahead.
Do you believe that the black man can lead and also do you respect black male leadership?
I respect black male leadership. Yes.
All right. And how about you, Miss Barbara?
Why it sound like she bit a fucking brick to say that shit?
I had to
No,
bite a brick to say that
you should
shit.
be honest. At this
I
stage of
did.
your life right now, you can respect and follow black male leadership as long as it doesn't interfere with your plan. Like if
Absolutely.
that leadership, in other words, if that leadership is totally against everything that you think and feel is what you like or what you want, but is what's best for everybody going forward, there's going to be some pushback.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But
So even if he doing right, she going against the grain.
Mhm.
no,
And that's frustrating. That's frustrating.
But
I mean, but that's human
that don't
though.
make you a
It's like
bad person,
it
Keisha.
doesn't
That
make
just
me.
make you just like the rest of them.
No. I was about to say it from a goddamn stuff. I'm like, because he said it's frustrating. I'm like, yo, it don't make me a bad person. You gotta understand that's. I don't know if that's a taught thing or is it wrong or right. No, I'm gonna just say this is just normal human shit. If you're absolutely against everything that I am and what I identify, uh, even though it's good for the greater good, I'm going to have some pushback. I will be lying to everybody. Everybody that may watch this shit, you get what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna.
He
That's
said,
I'm.
"Fuck that."
I'm gonna be like, hold the fuck
I
up.
think
What are you
that's
doing?
honesty.
Because like
You
if
know,
you like when Mr. Brown asks Keisha, would you quit your job, quit making money? The one thing I love next to fucking eating, because your man asks you to, he has a better plan for you. I would probably have a problem with that. Matter of fact, not probably. I'm going to have a problem with that. I'm gonna need a plan. You're gonna have to really convince me. It can't be. That's what I want you to do. That's it. No explanation. No nothing. Just because he's a man and he's a black man. I don't even know what that
I,
means.
I
You
hear
know,
you,
like
but,
sensational. What
but
that
I'm just going to
is. I
speak
don't even know what that
from
is.
a lot of black men
If
perspective.
he was white, would you feel the same way, or would you be like,
Hell
okay,
yeah, it would probably be worse.
She lied. She'll fall
I
right
would
in
say
line with white daddy.
No, I'm not. I
so
can't say I would. I'm not because I
that's
have a
going to
prejudice against
You
white.
know why? Because all the black bitches got a pretty woman fantasy. Let that white dude have some money. See, the black dude got to prove to you that you should. In this case, like you gave the example about
You
quitting your
asked me a
job
question.
to
I'm
do
sorry to
something
cut you
greater.
off, brother. I'm sorry to cut you
The
off.
black
You
man
asked
got to
me a
prove to
question.
you why.
You
The
asked
white
me
man,
a
all he got to do is
question.
have some money
I
and
answered
fuck
your
it.
question, and you're telling me what I'm going to acquiesce to because what the last bitch acquiesced to,
No.
You
What
asked
I'm saying
me,
is,
like I'm
I'm not
telling
saying
you,
that. I'm not
I'm
saying
being
that.
honest, and this is why a lot of this is why bitches lie to y'all. Fuck that. I'm gonna just say bitches. This is why bitches lie to y'all. Real shit. You asked me a question, then you asked me a deeper question. Be honest, Keish, with you X Y Z. I'm telling you, yeah, brother, you right.
What
I
you know what?
probably have a problem with that. I'm being honest. I'm
What?
being
I know
accountable.
you being honest.
But you're gonna also try to hold me accountable for what other bitches do. I ain't no
No.
bitch.
I
I don't
wasn't.
give
I
a fuck
wasn't.
if he's white, yellow,
Well,
green,
here's the thing.
purple.
We do as black men, we do need to have grace in terms of some kind of patience in terms of our women because they're not used to us having leadership. So I
But
get
you know,
I ain't got time to add
I
subtract.
was
Bitch, you
gonna,
better tighten up.
I was gonna say to that, a
'Cause
lot
you,
of men don't know how to lead, and it would
yeah.
create some
Russell, you
power
gotta mute.
there.
All
If
right.
a man knows how to lead, it puts a woman in a position to feel comfortable and to trust where he's leading the family to. But a lot of men don't know how to lead without, either bullying or beating a woman into submission or some crazy shit like that. That's just my 2 cent worth, y'all.
And a lot of that, I,
So
and
my
I'm
question to that is, why do women continue to pursue men and they know these men don't know how to lead? Why continue to pursue?
It's because we don't vet them. That's what we were talking about earlier, LP. That's the whole problem. It's that the vetting process is being completely overlooked.
people quick to jump into bed and quick to have kids with each other, but they're having to a lot of women. It seems like these days is that it's less of a commitment to have a baby with a man than to marry him. They're completely open with just having kids, but getting married, oh no, that's a commitment. I ain't trying to be nobody's slave and all that old type of stuff. Like they gotta, you know what I mean?
all right. So Miss Barbara. So all right,
Uh-huh.
so it's true that is a lot of men out here that don't know how to lead. Now, what do you say about the men who have
Man, if you could, man, give me my number. Ask me.
they have the resources, but then those men still want to give them pushback because we see that too.
Thank you, man.
I didn't hear the last part.
All right, so I'm gonna repeat it. What about those men who have a plan, have a program, they have the resources, and they have the vision, and they still get pushback? What about those situations?
That's a situation that they not agreeable with each other. They may not be compatible with each other. And so if it leads to that, somebody has to make a move to decide this is not for me. And
Yeah,
don't
this
play games.
relationship has to end, and that's the problem. Is that a lot of times we stay in relationships that are unhealthy for us,
What's my damage, sir?
I was
and
about.
that
Thank you, Miss Barr, for saying that. That was very important. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for saying that because that's
What's
very
your cash
important.
app?
If you have a guy with a program and he has a plan, and the woman that is with him is not going with the plan, they are non-compatible. You do not get mad that you're not. She ain't fucking acquiescing to what you want. That's not the one for you. You move on. You're not the one for her. It's just that simple. And I think what my problem with the red pill is, because this is how this conversation started, is that they want everyone to acquiesce to what the fuck they want. Same thing with a feminist, because I'm not sexist the fuck at all. So same thing with a feminist. They want what they want, how the fuck they want it. I'm cool personally on a micro level. I'm
Okay, thank you,
cool
man.
with
For sure,
whatever
bro.
you
Hold it
want to
down,
do,
man.
as long as it's not going against what I want to do. That's nothing wrong with that. I'm not wrong for being that way. I'm not less feminine. I'm not less of a woman. None of that shit. And you don't get to say that because it's not acquiescing to what you want. Then I cannot tell who is the fool, the feminist or the manosphere. They all sound alike at this point. That's
that's
my
what I
point.
said.
That's
That's what
all
I've
it
been
is.
saying.
See, that's nonsense, man. That's nonsense.
That's what I
What's
be saying.
nonsense?
How is that nonsense, brother?
I
I
see.
broke that down
She
to a
said.
science. That was a great
She
thing to say.
said what I be saying in a more complicated way. I simplify this shit as I see a bunch of men complaining, just like I see a bunch of women sitting around complaining. That I just said I simplify it in that way, but it's essentially it's the same. My sentiment behind that statement is what you just said. It's
Do y'all want me
it's
to
a
do
group of it's a group of people that want their program done, and if you don't want to fit into their program, you ain't shit. You get your ass up out of here. And it becomes an issue only when it's a person that they really want, and that person don't fit their program. And it's like, oh well, see, this is what's wrong with niggas, and see, this is what's wrong with women. See, this is
Right.
what's going on. It's like, oh, it's like that person didn't like you. Oh,
All right,
swallow the
so
pill,
the reason
and
why I
find
say
somebody that like you.
the reason why I say is nonsense to compare feminism to the red pill is because of the difference. Number one, men and women, they have different sets of issues. That's number one. Number two, as far as the black manosphere, let me say that. Let me quit saying just the red, because you may think it's just with white folks, and it's not. But with the black manosphere, the difference is we have solutions. The feminist movement, there is no. Put it like this: I'm for equal rights if you're doing the same thing. That is fine. I'm for voting, those type of things. But beyond that, there's no solutions unless you can tell me what solutions that the feminists have that are similar or adjacent to uh, the black manosphere. Then we can talk. But they are not the same.
Brother,
But you know
brother,
what?
what
Oh, go ahead, Keisha.
brother, what I'm not going to do is gaslight the situation. Meaning, if I say I can't tell who is the fool when I back up and I say you guys are similar, meaning you guys have your own program. You are thinking similar, meaning the program got to be exactly alike. You want red, she want red too. You want blue, it is not like that. No one's saying that. No one's even insinuating that. What we're saying is
That is what you're saying.
that's not what I said. I'm telling you that's not what y'all gotta listen
I'm listening.
with what someone is saying and not what you think they are saying.
Okay, you said
Like
you can't
I'm
tell which one
saying,
is the fool.
she wants red, you want blue. That's what I'm saying. The problem is the compatibility. The person wants the other person to acquiesce to what is going on instead of understanding that you're just not compatible and moving
Right.
the fuck on.
Well, here's
That's
the thing.
and I
Okay,
said
the
that's where
difference.
I can't
Okay,
tell, and that's not all the red pill, and that's not all the feminists or feminists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about that
what?
sphere of those two
Wait.
people
So you are
in this
gaslighting me.
war
You
where
are.
we can't tell who the fuck is the biggest fool because everyone wants to acquiesce in a general aspect. It's not personal enough.
So you are
Even with a
gaslighting.
feminist, I don't understand half of the shit she complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
And,
I really don't.
and I want to piggyback off of what Keisha said. Now, it's one thing for a man to proclaim he is the head of his household. He, this, that, and the other. But if a situation arises and the woman takes it to him, so this is the problem, such and such, and he's standing there looking stupid and don't have a clue as to how to fix it, how he gonna have the capacity to refer to himself as a head of household? That's
Okay, so
why I said
so
some men cannot lead. They don't know how to lead.
yes,
And
you're absolutely
and
right,
that
Miss Barbara. But that's not that's
interferes.
you're absolutely
But
right.
it
But
creates problems in the relationship. So how can you not, I mean, if a woman is with it, she's looking to her man, how do we go about fixing this? And if he ain't got a clue,
yeah,
then that
if you
woman
don't
got
have
to
a
step up
clue,
to the plate
if
in
you don't have a
regardless
clue,
of
then
what he says and handle the problem.
if
And
he
as
don't
a
have a clue,
result, that
then he's not a
causes problems. He got to
if
go.
he man, if he doesn't have a clue, then he's not a leader. So
Exactly.
so that's not what I'm talking about.
And so you shouldn't stay in a relationship just because the sex is good and all that. There's no reason to stay in that relationship because it ain't gonna do nothing but lead to more problems that he can't handle.
All right. So I want to go back what Lakeisha was saying. So
Mm-hmm.
you are gaslighting because you keep repeating that you don't see no difference. But I just broke down the difference in terms of as far as the men, they have solutions, unlike the feminists. That's number one. And then we just got through talking a long time about if that person is not doesn't acquiesce to your program, then y'all not compatible. We just got through saying that. So now you're saying that, oh well, that's a problem because they don't acquiesce to your program. All right, so that means we move on. We not compatible. So that is the definition of gaslighting, of saying things as if you didn't say it.
I'm not saying things as if I didn't say it. I just think you don't like the fact that I said that we can't tell who's the fool, and I think you're being caught up on that situation. Instead of saying, Keith, I just disagree with that and moving on.
No, but okay.
now I'm being disingenuous and gaslighting you. Like, no, man, y'all really gotta just say, you really just gotta listen to what someone's saying.
No,
and take that shit for what it is.
Now, what I understood,
and I'm gonna say this, it's coming across like you want me to speak for a feminist. It really is. Like, you want me to say what is similar to more insinuate my point. I can't think like a feminist for you.
I can tell you exactly what's similar.
I'm not a feminist.
I can tell you exactly what's similar. What's similar is that they want both sides to acquiesce to their fucking ideas. That's the similarity. They both have a particular set of ideologies and things and solutions that they believe are the answers to it.
What solution do the feminists have?
The feminists believe what they listen. I know, and I'm telling them because of course they absolutely do believe that they have solutions. They believe their solutions are like equality in all aspects and all things, and emphasis on pan all. There is no difference in men and women according to them, and if you don't acquiesce to that, then you're a misogynist. That's how they brand you. So that's what Keisha's saying. If you don't acquiesce to their program, then you are the problem. Same with the manosphere. If you're not fit, feminine, and friendly or whatever, then you are whatever. You're too masculine. You're a modern woman. They have a label for you. It's the same shit. It's just with a different fucking packaging. It's basketball and football are still sports. They still have rule books. They have an umpire. There's a lot of shit that's similar, even though that they're fundamentally different. But there's still similarities that are there. It's not that hard to understand. It's not rocket science.
Thank you, Timothy, for putting it so eloquently. Because I can't give him 99 points or what a feminist stand for, because I don't study them hoes. Like, they sound gay to me, so I'm like,
right.
Like, that's a little too queer.
Right. It sounds gay to me too, and it's a lot of dudes. I'm not gonna say all. There are some dudes that I hear that's in this supposed to be betterment of men that just sound like they want to only use women for sex and then just have bromances. Like, that's just what it seemed like to me. Like, that's just how it seems to me. That's not saying that's what it is. That's just how it seems, how some of them are. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying there are some.
So here's the thing. My thing is we have to have a bottom line. So is it everybody just gonna be every man for themselves, and that's just what it's gonna be?
That's how it's always been. That's how
what is the purpose of talking about a community if everybody is just gonna be for themselves?
Well, that's the whole thing. So, but that's the point. But that's the point. Hang on. Let me. I got this, Keisha. That's the no. He's not moving the goalposts, because that goes back to the point that we just made. If someone is not acquiescing to what you believe that the community should be, then they're the enemy. They're the problem. If listen. I am a part of a community of married men that believe in marriages and men being the head of the household, but at the same time, my wife has a voice. I don't step on her or how she feels, and she don't step on how I feel. We do a lot of shit together for the kids. I don't. It's not like, oh, since you're the woman, you gotta fucking do shit for the kids. No, it's not like I fucking sit down and I do their homework and shit with them too. I give them showers and put their clothes out and all of that shit too, because I'm a parent, and as a parent, I am concerned about the well-being and the education
and so on and so forth about my children. That's not a. I don't see that as just being a woman's job. I also help. I also had sex to have these kids. She didn't do it by herself, and vice versa.
And see, that's maturity, Timothy. You got that. But a lot of what I'm seeing today, a lot of men don't have that characteristic. They want to come across as they've had a household, but they don't know how. Because what you're doing, I mean, you and your wife got it right and tight.
Well, and see, that's the thing. You hear this talk about leadership and leadership and leadership. If I'm the leader of a football team, right, and I know that the second string fucking quarterback is better than the first string, I'm gonna play the fucking second string because that's the best move for the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best move for the team. I don't have to be the fucking front runner. Be like, I'm got my chest poked out. I'm the man in this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta. You don't gotta do that. You don't gotta do that shit to lead.
That's right. Because Keisha broke it down to me one time to help me understand manosphere and red pill, blue pill, and all that. But if a man, they want to go by Kevin Samuels, say I'm the head of the household, and blah blah blah, and don't have a clue.
A lot of them don't have a fucking house. I have and this is just my own personal belief. This ain't nobody's. This ain't nobody's other. This ain't nothing I got influence from nobody. This is just my own personal belief. I believe that every man should live alone for a good 5 to 10 years of his life before he decides to get married and live with a woman.
I agree. So, Ms. Barber, so Lakeisha broke down the manosphere to you. How does she do so? Or Lakeisha, how does she break down the manosphere? Ms. Barber said you broke down the manosphere to her, to where she understood, and I want to know how.
How do Lakeisha break down the manosphere? To me, the manosphere is, well, Mr. Brown, please don't chop off my neck and don't attack me because this is just my opinion. And I say that too, didn't I not, Miss Barb? I said these are not facts. This is just my opinion. Did I not?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's my first statement I make because I don't want no one to try to hold me to some shit I said. And you be like, no, it's not that. This is just my opinion. So, in my opinion, the manosphere is a reverse feminism, like feminism in reverse. Like it is. If feminism is about I could do anything that's equal to a man, and I could be a man, then the manosphere is like, no, bitch, you can't, because I'm a man, and men should have this, and men are this, and men are that, and it's like MRA, the male rights movement. Like that's what I explained to Ms. Barr. And I said these are two fractions that are fighting each other, and one begates the other. I said, it started off as a bunch of male chauvinist niggas, and they birthed feminism, and this feminism birthed the manosphere. That's how I explain it to anyone that asks. Non-biased and just my opinion.
I agree with that. Chauvinism gave birth to feminism, and feminism gave birth to the red pill. I can see that. That makes sense.
All right, so all of y'all are
I get through here, oh, I'm sorry.
That's with no bias. That's not nothing about how I feel about it. That's just if you wanted to explain it without bias.
In a practical, from a practical point of view, I can see this correlation.
Okay. Ms. Barber, that's not the manosphere.
Huh?
I said that is not the manosphere.
Well, what is it then?
It is a body of work of men speaking out for themselves, also coming up with solutions, also speaking on experiences that they've had in this society.
I'm sorry to laugh, bro, because feminism is a body of work of women that come up and sit around and come up with solutions and talk about the experiences that they had. What are you? I'm like, how do you not? How are you seeing it as something different, but it's exactly the same? Just from the only thing that's different is the sex perspective. The perspective is either of individual sex.
Yes, Timothy. It's like this is what we argue with them.
What I did was I listened to Lakeisha explain what she her opinion on what it was, That's what I did.
Oh, sorry. You're all right, bro.
And so she said it's basically male chauvinist, and it's the opposite of feminism. So here's the thing. It, you know what, man? Fuck it, man. Y'all can think what y'all want to think.
No, you have our undivided attention, bro.
All right. So the bottom line. All right. So there was a first wave feminism in terms of women didn't have no rights at all, right? You know, we know this. We know about well, maybe y'all know about what is her name? Ada B. Wells. You know, she was one of the first ones, and she had stood alone, and she was fighting the white feminists or whatever, the white abolitionists back in the day. Then it came the second wave, which attached themselves with the civil rights movement. You know, did we forget that? You know, they attached themselves to the civil rights. And what happened was during the civil rights, the feminists and the women's rights, they leached themselves, and along with illegal immigrants, they leached themselves onto what black folks were doing, and they pushed their agenda through. Then it came the third wave feminism. So women have had the floor for we're just gonna say since the 70s up until 10 years ago, to where now men are starting to speak out on what they experience, you know. And you know, I hear y'all saying, oh, it's the same thing, but it's not. It's not.
Here's why I say it's the same thing. Here's why, brother. Here's why. I'm not a feminist, and I'm just going to keep saying this on the record. I'm just not. But I know history just like you know history. Everything you saying is correct. I'm going to start off with that as well. I'm going to start off with agreeing with you and saying that it the third wave didn't happen to the 70s. Y'all want to pin that shit on the 80s, but I'm going to say it started in the 70s. That I don't need a man in that video where there's a bunch of women lined up with their babies on their lap talking to the white man about how they don't need no man, they got welfare. Yeah, that was in the 70s. That was not in the 60s. So let's go back.
You talking about that documentary?
Yeah,
The
that documentary. That
No,
documentary that they
that
like to
documentary
refer.
came out in the 80s. It might have been filmed in the 70s, but
It
yeah,
was filmed in the 70s, but it came out in the 80s. But still, that's the 70s type shit. So I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I don't care when you seen it. It's when it was fucking recorded. So the record is from the 70s. It was like what 73 at that damn time.
like
That
79, 78, 79.
No, that shit was 73, huh?
And the reason why is because in the 70s,
I could pull up that.
In the 70s, you seen there was a
1973.
lot of
Recorded it.
during the 70s. There was a lot of. It was probably some of the biggest boosts in black community and blackness since Black Wall Street. In the 70s, everybody was proud to be black. Women walked around with their afros. People were families, and it was all Black Panther and Black Power and Black family, and this is us. And then when that broke up, that's when you start seeing. Because you know they always talk about the I forget the name of that report. It starts with an M, but it's about when welfare was introduced. I forget the name of that report, but they always talk about how that's from the 60s and how women were choosing welfare over men, which is not true. A lot of that were men that were losing their jobs because they was closing the factories, and being that they were men, it understood that they couldn't take care of their kids and they didn't want their kids to be hungry. A lot of men, I'm not saying all of
where
them.
the first and the second and the third wave of feminism.
Okay, my bad.
I don't want to get into schematic. If I'm wrong, no, I take that L. If I'm wrong, if it was 73 or 78, bro, it's the 70s. I may be wrong on them schematics, but that's what that happened. Right. So before then, I would say the shit started in the 1920s. Now, for Keisha, we talking 1920s. We talking like maybe 30 years or maybe 25 years after emancipation, bro. Like, I don't think black people can include themselves in that. But later on in the second and the third wave that you guys like to talk about so much, it's more like when my generation was born. So I think we get into those type of topics, that's where I get dismissive.
Oh wait, Isn't I thought the
I get
second wave?
dismissive
I thought the
altogether
second
because
wave.
I'm 33 years old. That has nothing to do with me. That has something to do with
Well,
everything with y'all
well,
generation.
well, Miss Barbara, you correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Barbara. If I'm not mistaken, I thought the second wave was in the 50s, in the 60s when the women's movement came about because then white women got tired of being housewives and cooking
Well,
for
yeah,
their
that's what I'm
husbands and
agreeing
all of
with
that.
you, Tim.
Yeah,
That's the second wave, and the first one was in the 1920s.
yeah.
That's when it all started. The third one was the final attack, around civil rights movement, when they attached their damn bill to ours.
But
Because our bill
that's
was
the
a
60s.
human rights
That's the
bill.
60s. That's the
Yeah, that's the
60s.
60s.
And
Our
they
bill
didn't attach it.
was a human rights bill, so it got attached to ours by default. We don't even want to view that part.
Well, it depends on who you talk to and which historians you talk to, because some historians will say that it was an independent movement and they used it to take traction away from the civil rights movement by making black women identify as women first and not black first. So they were trying to take away traction from the civil rights movement and get women to like I said, black women to identify as being black first, so that way it wouldn't get as much press and it wouldn't have as much public impact as it would have had if had all the women been like, oh, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. There's like, wait a minute, I'm a woman first. I know what it's like to get raped. I know what it's like to get beat by a man. I know what it's like. So
Right. That was the second wave. That was the second attack. The final blow was to get her to was the financial blow. That was the mental blow. That was the mental blow. The 1920s
That's
shit. We
right.
ain't got nothing. No black woman really benefited from voting because we were black first. Like so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't, not in 1920. No, no. Not in 1930.
Right.
Not in 1940. No, we wasn't
Right.
really. They did not give
and,
a fuck.
and see the
So
funny
we
thing
can
about it is
identify
that
with
they
that.
disenfranchise us
But
now. They
the attack on
disenfranchise us now.
the mental attack,
Mm-hmm.
that shit was straight up a mental attack.
Yeah.
It
And
was a brilliant mental attack because
mm-hmm.
it got women thinking that they're women first and not black. Now let me spin this for the manosphere.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you guys named yourselves the Black Manosphere, because you learned that lesson from feminism. And I hate to say it, brother, but you did. Because if it wasn't for feminism, you would have just named yourselves the Manosphere. You wouldn't
That,
identify, you would have separated yourself
that's not wrong.
black
We wouldn't
first.
have nothing to do
Now,
with
I want to come,
feminism.
and that's the accolade and the roses I give the Black Manosphere, because you named yourself black first. But that's the lesson y'all got from the feminism movement. Just give them the credit. Say thank
I
you.
mean,
And
I'm not, you
the
know,
red pill, I'm gonna take
I
red pill.
I see
Red
the
pill
need
mindset. The reason
to
why I
attack.
don't like the red pill mindset is because it separates you from your origins and it straight up deal with you as being a man.
All right, so I
So
see
what makes you
this
different
need.
from a feminist at this point?
I see this need to attach the feminism to the manosphere. You know, I will say that's what the white boys did. You know, in terms of, you know, after watching this documentary, I see that's what they did. But we've always had unique issues with our women. You know, here's the whole thing. This whole they cannot the manosphere cannot be similar to it has similar aspects. I will acknowledge that, but they cannot be the same by the simple fact that if the general consensus, even a lot of feminists, believe it or not, they acknowledge that we're quote unquote supposed to be the leaders. If we are finally trying to do that, we are not the same, man. I don't. Why is it so important for y'all to attach manosphere and feminism as if they're the same? Why is that so important?
Well, see, we got a
I'm
person.
still trying to figure out when anybody said they were the same. I heard singularity mentioned over and over and over and over again.
But
Okay,
this is
fine.
not
Well,
for
I'll
women.
give similarities. I would concede that, but this thing this unproductive to keep shoving down our throats that they're the same. We need to stop that. What put it like this. I don't want to say we need to stop that. Tell me why that's important. Why is that so important?
But bouncing off of what Keisha was saying, did you ask a question? You waiting for a question to be answered. I didn't mean to cut you off if you were.
He
Yeah,
started breaking up, so I didn't hear what he said.
my
Oh, okay.
question is why is it so important to attack feminism to the manosphere? What's the point?
Because feminism is attached to the manosphere. Feminism isn't attached to the black manosphere because there's no such thing as black feminism. Do you understand that?
I get it. So I guess my thing was why
Actually, black feminism is a new thing coming up too. So
because they have similarities because uh women are speaking up for their rights and men are speaking up for their rights. Is that the thing? Is that
that's the fundamental similarity, right?
okay?
It's a fundamental
Okay.
similarity, and it separates the origin from the gender. The the fact that y'all all get together and what you want and agree with is that you're a man. You could be a white man, a black man, a Puerto Rican man, but you're a man. That's the manosphere. That's red pill shit. Black manosphere is black man, male shit. You get what I'm saying? What they got to do with their black community. That's dealing with us. There is no motherfucking black feminism, bro. There was
That's what I
no
was just
such
saying.
fucking fraction. Like,
I'm
so
telling you,
y'all are in an
Keisha,
entity by yourself. That's all I'm saying.
I have to educate you. Black feminism is coming up. I just recently watched a Vice thing with it had this that I was just saying about Pearl. 'Cause that's when I kind of got a good sense of who she was. But on there they were talking about abortion. So feminism was basically the underlying foundation of that conversation. And the black women start saying, there's a difference between feminism and black feminism because black women, we face our own individual issues that white women don't face.
But see,
They call it womanism. They call it womanism.
but one thing we
What
gotta
the fuck?
understand
Yeah.
is this.
That must
It
be
was
some new
white
shit.
women. Oh, I'm sorry. You directed to someone else. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Miss
Sister
Bard.
Barbara.
I was just saying. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, baby.
No, that's all. I was
Now,
just
Miss
commentary.
Barbara,
Go ahead.
do you know the term womanism?
Womanism. No,
Mm-hmm.
but I know about feminism.
Okay, so womanism came out like in the 80s, and it was basically the black their version of the black manosphere. Basically they wanted to separate themselves and made an effort to separate themselves from feminism. Which is basically white feminism.
Right. That's where it had its roots at.
What's their talking points, y'all?
So here's the thing. So
I just
all right, so
told you it's the same thing pretty much, except for the individual issues that black women face that white women don't. Like the whole they got I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Crown Act. I don't know if the Crown Act has been accepted in your state. I don't know.
And before that, because that was some bullshit.
The Crown Act is a direct result of womanism, of black women fighting for their rights and struggles that white women don't face. For those that are unfamiliar with what it is, they had a law. They had to have a law passed to where businesses could not discriminate against you for wearing your natural hair.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Okay.
And that benefits men and women because it's men who wear dreads.
Right.
But it goes deeper than that, y'all. It goes deeper than that. Because when they came out with that feminist movement, it was to benefit a white woman in the workforce. We picked up the crumbs and turned it into something else. And the whole goal of feminism gave rise to when they started increasing welfare benefits, and that was to help start the breakup and erosion of the black families. Because back then, if the woman was to get assistance to help the family food and all this here stuff, they couldn't have a man in the house. You understand? That started eroding the nuclear family. And then I understand, since y'all explained that the womanism to me, I can understand that. Because when they increased the welfare benefits for a lot of these women, Section 8 and all that stuff, Yeah, then it came, I don't need a man. But what? You getting public assistance. You got $8 rent and all that shit. And they started saying that, I don't need a man, this, that, and the other. That's what gave rise to a lot of that. That gave rise to a lot of it. And because it also opened doors for women to go to school on the cheap, they didn't offer that same right to the men, see. And so when these women became educated, they started to look down and say, well, I can do better. You ain't educated, I am. So it further eroded and broke up our relationships with each other.
Right. And that's what Miss Barbara is talking about is, see, today it's called public assistance or what they call it, GR, general relief and stuff like that. Back then, the welfare was called assistance for families with dependent children, AFDC.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you had a child, you qualified for it. And that's why a lot of these women back then would have a whole bunch of babies by a whole bunch of different baby daddies. Because as long as she had a dependent child, the government would pick up the tab. And the more kids you had, the more benefits you had. If you had five kids and you had Section 8, you now qualify for a 5-bedroom house. And your rent and your mortgage be $300.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, and like Miss Barbara said, that's where the arrogance and all of that start coming in, because you start seeing these same women using that as a social status, like, because people don't know that they on Section 8 unless you tell them. So they be like, they would look down on me. I got a house. What you got? I got this. I do this for my kids. I do that for my kids. And they're not telling you that they don't got a job and it's all subsidized funds. But they saying that they doing it in their minds. It's a delusion that it's them doing it for them. It's them doing it for their kids because they got off their ass and went and filled out the paperwork. So I did it. Since I got up and filled out the paperwork, I did this for my kids.
Right. So here's the thing. So the manosphere, put it like this. We can say they similar. We'll say they're
They have
adjacent.
similarities. They have similarity adjacent.
Okay,
they're adjacent.
We'll agree to that. So now, as far as the Black manosphere, we are addressing what's going on today. So basically, the intersectionalists, we see that don't we see the attempt in terms of Black women aligning themselves with the LGBT community. We see that attempt, but what we're saying as, okay, we don't necessarily, well, I'm not gonna say we don't have a problem with the LGBT community, but we're saying that we want women who are cooperative with us. We that independent thing, as a whole, we reject it because of the attitudes that come with it, is what we're saying.
Yeah, interdependent is always better than independent.
Mm-hmm. So the manosphere is basically dealing with what we see today. The intersectionalists, the modern day feminists. They can still do what they do, and they still are. But we as Black men as a whole, we see that that's not working. So the demonization of the Black manosphere, I just wish it would stop, man. I wish y'all would be more open minded to it.
You said open minded to the manosphere. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, like I said, I don't have an issue with the messaging of a lot of the stuff they do. It's just I only point out the inadequacies, the hypocrisies, just like I do with feminism. I don't have a particular because number one, I am a man, and I'm gonna always have naturally I'm gonna relate to other men before I relate to women. And a lot of the issues that they do talk about, I absolutely understand and I can agree and I can see a lot of that shit happening. It's just the whole saying that it's the hypocrisy, like I keep saying, the hypocrisy of saying women don't hold themselves accountable and then be a group of men sitting around saying, well, the reason we are where we at now is because of women. That's hypocrisy. Because you can't say women sit around and blame everything on men. Oh, it's the patriarchy and such and such and such and such, and then turn around and say, well, we fucked up because women too masculine. Women is this. It's this. It's to me. That's the part where I have an issue is in that shit because it's women's behavior. It's supposed to be men, but you're sitting around complaining about women like a bunch of women complaining about men.
I mean, I actually get that part, and that's why things such as this is basically us saying what we need. You know what I mean? Not necessarily tied to complaining about women. We say, okay, well, I do see value in saying what we don't like and identifying the problem. Because if we don't identify the problem, it's going to be hard for a solution. So with these years, we have identified women that we don't like, which is the argumentative, the disagreeable. So we're saying no more of that. If you want to do that, then you're not going. Just like I was saying, not going to be a part of our program. And my thing is that needs to be okay. So if that is if that's the solution, we're saying, all right, I'm gonna use the term, we want lionesses, we don't want hyenas. I don't understand why it's such pushback on us saying that.
Well, that I can dig that, and the only thing I could say that possibly I can't speak for women, maybe Keisha, somebody else can touch on it, but maybe that has to be presented as not just because the way it gets presented, and I see it presented myself, is that it's only talking about black women. Black women are this, and black women pop their neck, and black women are too masculine. Black women are, if you generalize it the way you just said it right now, I don't think there would be no issues like that. Like these are the traits that we don't like, period, in all women. We don't want an argumentative woman no matter what, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
This type of thing. Yeah.
For the most part, we deal with our own women, though. And true enough, there are white hyenas. There could be hyenas in all races.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And masculine women in all races, right?
Or
that's what I'm saying.
But for the most part, we deal with our women. Yes, there are a part of the Medicare that are passport bros. They feel as though we all know they feel as far as the American black women that they're too masculine, and so are we gonna act like that's not the case? That American.
No, but what I'm saying is because what you're saying is true, that we can't pretend that's not the case, but let's not pretend that in doing so you don't understand why there's a pushback. It's the same exact pushback to black women say, but niggas ain't shit, so men pushed back. That's just a natural response to anyone that's gonna feel attacked, especially when you're funneling it in to a specific group. Like I said, if it was just like, okay, these are just the traits in women that we just don't like, period, across the board women, there would have been pushback from all women, not just a bunch of women saying you must hate your mama because ain't your mama black. Why you down talking to all these black women? You hate yourself. That's why y'all think white women is better. It would none of that would even be within the realm for them to use as ammunition if it was presented as these are as a focal point on the behaviors, not saying that these behaviors are only attached to this certain group of
all right,
individuals.
so Timothy, that's practical, right? But now, what about And I know you've seen them. I know you've seen them. What about those women who are hell bent on talking shit about us? Let's say I'm just gonna say this, Cynthia. They're all in a group. Don't matter what we say, no matter how we present it, they got some smart ass shit to say. You know, what about that shit?
Just say the same thing I'll tell anybody. If the more haters you got, the more you know you're doing something right.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think I said that in the back chat when we was typing. I said the red pill. Oh, y'all
I'm gonna
know
go
like.
on mute because I'm in this warehouse. It's gonna be loud.
All right. Well, I need you to mute yourself. Oh, he said you're going on mute. All right. Sorry. So, the red pill just don't like to be criticized. However, y'all just like you said, and you said multiple times, women has been out here in these social media streets for a while now, and we had not what 50, maybe 40 years of being in these social media streets, and y'all just finally getting to say what y'all want to say. However, this comes with saying what you want to say. There's going to be people that's going to be like, okay, let's nitpick at this, or this is what I didn't agree with, and we have a little bit of a contingency. So it's a criticism that you say, or not you personally, Mr. Brown, but a lot of guys that identify is identifying as a red pill don't like the criticism, or just can't take the honesty that they asking for. Just take the honesty. If you ask me a question, I honestly answered the question. You don't get to tell me I'm going to die alone. That's rude, for one.
All right,
Like,
so
and it's insulting. Like, why you gotta insult me because I told you what you wanted me to say?
all
Not
right,
wanted me to say, but you wanted honesty, and I gave it to you. Like, goddamn.
so here's the thing: if you or anyone else come in good faith, yes, we should be able to um take that criticism, and respond. That's fair. But I guess you didn't hear what I was talking about when I asked Timothy, have he observed basically the chaos agents that are hell bent on keeping things the way they are, and not giving a damn, and you say insulting. They come in the door being assaulting. They come in the door calling us dusties. They come in the door saying we ain't shit in our
That's
faces.
those y'all babies. Those are the
It,
babies. Those are your nemesis you created. Just
so,
like
so, so
females
here,
created, just like
the difference,
feminism
but
created
the
you.
difference is
Those are your nemesis you created when you decided that you wanted to speak out and exercise your
well,
First
well,
Amendment.
well, the
Like,
whole
you're going
difference
to have
is
little demons that come
well.
in your shit and create chaos. You gotta.
So
That's
so
the
but
criticism
see,
I'm giving you guys. Like, I'm not siding with the Cynthia G's. I think they're fucking crazy. I don't follow those women. I'm not in their circles. I'm not in their groups. None of that. You know where I'm at? I'm in your group.
and
That's
that's
it.
that's the
You get
whole
what I'm
thing.
saying? I'm in your
That's
group.
the whole thing.
So,
The thing is, we're not over there. You know what I'm saying? Why would they come over here talking that shit?
because those are your nemesis, bro. That's what they're supposed to do. That's their purpose. Is to fuck with you. That's their sole purpose. This is why a lot of people in my group, and I'm gonna put this on the record, don't understand why I got certain members in my group. Because your purpose is your purpose. Who am I to tell you that's not your purpose? My purpose
So
is to find similarities, not a bunch of fucking differentiality.
so here's the thing.
That's my purpose.
So chaos agents and KS groups don't have a purpose other than chaos. I'm gonna put that on the record.
Yup, their only purpose is to create chaos in your shit because they are your babies. That's what you gave
I,
So do
birth
y'all
to.
got Tommy? Y'all got Tommy in this group?
I'm not gonna I'm not
No,
gonna
Tommy not in this group because I ain't want him
I
around.
can tell you the purpose of chaos agents in red pill spaces. If and this is where the whole leadership comes in, because good leadership, you would make your enemy your asset. All of them chaos agents that come around, you use them as prime examples of what you're preaching. If you
I mean,
preach, you can
I
say,
do
see,
it.
this is
I
exactly
agree.
you can say, see, this is exactly the behavior we're talking about. Young lady that Cynthia G, where's your man at? Where's your husband? Your whole baby mama. If we're such, if what we're saying is so bad, then how is what you're preaching better? How is that working for you? I'll wait. That's what
Well,
you do.
I would say, okay, so in my particular group, that we have 11,000 people, and we've done that. Basically outlined how you behave, line sign language. We've done that. You know what I mean, and it's cut back on it. But I'm mainly thinking about the other KS group that just let anybody say anything under the guise of free speech.
Hence why I love my group, because my
but free
group is
speech.
very
I'm
structured.
not. I'm
It
not
is
anti
structured.
free speech.
I'm not
I'm
anti free
anti
speech
troll.
neither.
I'm anti trolls, but
Me
I'm
as
not.
well, but I'm not
I'm not
anti free
anti free
speech.
speech. But
So
if
this is why
somebody,
I love
if
my group,
someone
and my group
genuinely
is
has,
centered for all you guys that want to have a voice, but you're playing the black field. I'm gonna circle the conversation about what you were talking about earlier, when you said every man's leadership is not supposed to be in the forefront. Sometimes it's in the back end. However, like I made a statement before, and I make it again: women and men, women and men, we create platforms so you could come on, come tell your story, come, and there's not like a lot of pushback, but there is going to be some critiques, because that's like Mr. Timothy has said, that is what comes with free speech. That's the consequences of free speech, is criticism. You got to understand that. Now, if you preaching a woman to take criticism, honey, you got to show what the fuck that looks like. And that's where I come in. I'm going to put you around people that can actually have the conversation with you. They're not going to fucking agree with you 100%. And then the solutions that you may have may not be their solutions, but can there be some similarities drawn in the sand so we can at least understand one another? Because without similarity, humans don't understand that shit.
All
We
right,
are afraid of things
all
we're
right.
not, we can't, familiarize with.
Understood.
So,
So I'm cool with dialoguing with people who are not chaos agents. I'm cool with dialoguing with people who have intellectual honesty and come with good faith. I'm not cool with dialoguing with people who are trolls. So with that said, I agree with you. It's important to come to a middle ground. So with that said, and that's why I ask people relate to the list. What do they disagree with the list on that we came up with? And thus far, I haven't really heard much pushback on the list that we came up with.
like, and that's like I said, because a lot of this is just common sense, and you can't refute things that make sense. It's like who, what dummy is going to argue against making yourself better, making yourself the best person that you can be? Only a stupid motherfucker would be like, "Did you kind of shit is that?"
Yeah,
That's you know what I mean?
well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I've gotten, what I've seen. Oh well, this ain't everybody. You do it for your own life. Oh, um, I've seen that.
And the
So
people that say that type of stuff are the people that are not in a that aren't at the position where they feel like they're the best that they could be. Right. They have a defeatist attitude already. They feel like they stuck where they are, and they want to blame somebody else for the reason of why they're that. There's no accountability, and it don't matter what sex you are. You'll see
I
that
agree.
shit.
I agree, and it's frustrating.
So first, it all starts with getting, like you said, getting people to have an open mind and understand where you want to come from, and understand how this it's beneficial to everyone, not just men, but to everyone. Because that's the problem with feminism, is that feminism only presents the betterment for women. It doesn't present a betterment for men. So men are going to naturally be against it, because it's like, well, I'm gonna, you want me to acquiesce to all of these demands that you have because you're a woman, but when it comes to me, it's like, oh, whatever, you're being a misogynist, you're asserting the patriarchy. It's like, no, I'm just trying to be a man because that's what men do, because we're men. You know what I mean? Like, and from the little stuff that I see people talk about online, and I swear to God, they have to be trolling, because who's really gonna? Well, I have yet to see a woman complain that I opened the door for her.
Right. What?
So a lot of that stuff, I'm like, that stuff gotta be trolling.
Now, I will say, years back, I had went on a date with this woman, and she like ran in front of me to open the door. It was some weird ass shit, man. she was like, I was like, I said, man, hold on, man, I'll open the door for you. And she's like, no, I can open the door for you. I'm like, man, look, man, I'm uncomfortable with that. You know, that day ended very quickly. It was some weird ass shit.
What's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Hi,
Miss Barbara,
Yes,
check
sir.
check your messenger. Check your messenger. I just sent you a tracking number.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and we'll talk on this weekend.
Okay.
Cause and real quick, like I formatted a memory stick at work, and I took it to the crib, and it didn't work. But I think there might be a way to do that. I gotta look it up. You know what I'm saying? But there's 20 DVDs in the package.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to get, like, you know, the little sleeves they come in. I had to get like party invitation envelopes.
Okay.
Then I had no other way to do it, but you'll see it. It's like a priority mail. So.
Oh, okay. Does it have the music on there, or?
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Okay.
They're burned on 20 DVDs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. What's up? What's going on, y'all?
What's going on? Who's that?
Sean.
What's up with you?
I ain't seen
That's
y'all.
DJ Sean Ski.
What's up, LP? That's LP?
What's poppin', King?
I ain't heard from you in a while either.
Well,
I heard from a lot of y'all.
So I'm gonna surprise the hell